Bernie Sanders was on C-SPAN recently, and well, he made some news. He made news in a couple of different ways. I want to show you the first video when they were asking him if he's going to speak at the Democratic National Convention, and he wound up saying something very relevant to whether he's going to be the nominee.
Have you begun to prepare your speech for the convention? Will you speak at the convention?
Well, it's hard to say. That is, doesn't appear that I'm going to be the nominee, so I'm not going to be determining the scope of the convention.
So obviously, people took that as big news because he said, it doesn't appear that I'm going to be the nominee. But look, to me, that is not giant news. Of course, Hillary Clinton has more pledged delegates and she has more superdelegates. If nothing extraordinary happens between now and the convention, she will be the nominee. That shouldn't really be a surprise to anyone. Now, as I've said over and over again, there is something extraordinary that could happen between now and the nomination because the presumptive nominee is being investigated by the FBI as we speak. Now, it doesn't mean it's going to happen between now and the convention. So the likely chances are she will be the nominee. So I don't think Bernie Sanders is making big news here. And if you're one of those folks who thinks, no, Sanders is going to fight her no matter what, even if he doesn't have more pledged delegates and nothing extraordinary happens, then I do have bad news for you because I don't believe that is likely to happen. That's not me saying it or wishing it. That's Bernie Sanders saying it because reality is reality. If she's got more pledged and superdelegates and nothing weird happens, yeah, she's the nominee. That's how it works. So you might be mad about that. I'm mad about that. I supported Sanders. I wish it was Sanders. But at the end, there's a vote, and then that's that. So let's see. There's still a whole month to go. Let's see if anything extraordinary happens. But obviously, Sanders agrees with us that right now, that's not how it's set to go. Now, I did find other parts of this interview very interesting as well that others are not talking about. So I wanted to follow up on that idea, and it was an hour long, and near the end, he came back to the idea of the DNC and whether he'd speak. He said, I've given a few speeches in my life. It would be nice to speak at the Democratic National Convention. If they, for whatever reason, don't want me to speak, so what? Honestly, even at this late juncture, I'm sometimes still a little naive. I never even considered that Bernie Sanders wouldn't speak at the convention. For the person who finished second and got 12 million votes, it's mental not to have him speak at the convention. Are you kidding me? If you're trying to get all of his voters to come to your side, you're not even going to let the man speak? No, that should not even be within the realm of consideration. Don't get me wrong, I know the political calculations. The way that it normally works is, hey, get in line, and if you don't get in line and you don't endorse Hillary Clinton, then we'll take that carrot away and we won't let you speak at the convention, and and those are the political games we play. Yeah, but in this case, you're playing a game against yourself. Even if you hate Bernie Sanders, you need his voters. So if you're part of the Clinton machine, it would be a ridiculous mistake to not let him speak at the DNC. Could they make that mistake? Apparently, because he's had several conversations with Hillary Clinton, which means that they must have threatened this. Otherwise, he'd say, of course I'm going to speak at the DNC. So that is not an of course at this point. All right, two more comments from there. He also said, I think she should select clearly, referring to the VP possibility, the most progressive candidate she can find. I think it would be a terrible mistake for her to go to a candidate who has roots from Wall Street or who's been backed by Wall Street. Well, there again, unsurprisingly, I agree with Bernie Sanders. It would be a terrible mistake. Is it possible that she would make that mistake? Yes. There's an article out earlier in the week from Politico saying Wall Street is threatening to pull all their donations if it's a real progressive like Elizabeth Warren. So now if she does pick Warren and Wall Street actually pulls all their donations, then you know that she made a real decision and the correct one. If it turns out she doesn't go with someone like that and goes with someone that has been Wall Street pre-approved, then you know where her real, forget her heart, where her policies lie. And that's the important thing for a president. And finally, I wanted to show you one more clip from Bernie Sanders.
Where we are right now is what we are trying to do, which is no secret to anybody, is to create the most progressive platform that we possibly can, reflecting the needs of working families and students and the environment and healthcare and so forth. And second of all, we're trying to do nothing less than transform the Democratic Party.
You see, the rest of the media still can't wrap their mind around this. What is his real motivation? Is he trying to get a speaking spot, a cabinet position, the VP slot? No, he's trying to get those policies. He said it 1,000 times, but you won't listen to him. He's like, no, what I'm concerned about is making sure we get to our goals so that the American middle class is better off. They're like, yeah, but what do you really want? He's like, for God's sake, that's what I really want. Why won't you listen? Because that's usually not how politics is played. And so he's thrown them for a loop as always. So interesting comments. And I actually think most of them are encouraging because he's still fighting for that same thing that we all want, real change.